Well, hello, everybody. How are you? Listen, I'm sitting in my front room, was having a nice cup of tea, and people said to me, "Why are you wearing that jumper?" Well, what it is, I've not been out since Christmas, so I'm wearing it for a bet. Actually, wearing it for a bet. Great show today. Got some great guests, brilliant guests, and so pleased to get them on. One of them's a well-established cabaret act, and also we've got a young man who is also now a show producer and another show producer. Can you believe it? And they're all to do with Potters. Hello, everybody from Potters. There they are. Look here, they come. Look at that, David Grieger. Hello, David.
It's afternoon. Yes, good afternoon.
Hello, and we've also got Richard Wymark in the corner. Look at that.
Hi, Johnny. Hello, Johnny.
And Charlie's there. Charlie's got more hair than you, Richard.
I certainly have. Natural.
And of course, the big star herself couldn't make it, so we've got the actual entertainment's director, no less, ladies and gentlemen, the lovely Nikki Hathaway. Hello, Nikki.
Hello, Johnny. How are you?
I'm lovely. I'm all right, mate. Yeah, I've just been doing decorating, been doing a bit of tossing, in the kitchen. Yeah, a bit of a mess. I've got a spotted floor now. It's quite nice, actually. I might keep it. It's nice to see. We're going to have a chat to everybody. But just tell us what you've been doing the last sort of week or so. David, what have you been doing the last week or so?
Well, Johnny, the exciting life of somebody who works in theatre during COVID-19. Not a lot, to be honest with you. More rescheduling for Frankie's Guys and our theatre tour. More rescheduling, unfortunately. And just doing what I can to prepare for the big comeback.
Oh, brilliant.
Same as everybody.
Of course, Richard, what are you doing? Obviously, you were working as well because you took on a little job while you weren't doing the shows.
I was working in a store until we got furloughed again and everything. But no, I've been at home. But I've been probably like Dad. I've been writing, getting everything together for when we do come back because I realised I'd never written the act down word for word, and all the ideas that you get over the years and weeks and months and what have you. I've been writing it all down, so getting all the ready for some production shows as well.
Well, if you want mine, I've got your act on my tape here. Do you want it?
Yeah,
and of course, Nikki, you've obviously been trying to sort of things out for when we do open up again.
Yeah, absolutely. Planning for hopefully, the next.
Oh yeah. So I just knew that Nigel Pattle would want to get in on the act. I'm very sorry about this, ladies and gentlemen. Nigel Pattle is... Right, I'm going to put Nikki back in the cupboard and Richard back in the cupboard. I'm going to have a chat to David. So, David, obviously, your career, what a great career you've had. I mean, I met you, 10 years ago? Must be 10 years ago.
It was Potters, I think, maybe even 11 years ago, maybe 12.
Yeah, because I know your father, I know your dad really well. Obviously, Dad was in bands and things.
Yeah.
He didn't tell me he had a talented son. So because you've got a twin, haven't you? The other son is a talented one, and he's not here, is he? I'm sorry, Dave. So obviously, your career. How did it start, David? Where did you start?
Well, if you really want to go back there, Johnny. So basically, I had. Growing up with my dad being an entertainer, he'd always done like the pubs and the clubs and all of that kind of stuff as I was growing up. So that was always really normal. That environment was normal to me. But I'd never kind of gone to any stage schools or anything like that at all. I'd never done any dance classes or, here comes the joke, I've never done any singing lessons.
I'm saying nothing, David.
You're a freebie there. I hadn't really done anything like that, but I got to like 20, didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew that I was a bit of an extrovert and knew that I was a bit silly. And to be honest with you, I hit a bit of a brick wall where I just thought, I can't do a normal job. This isn't for me. I'm just not built for it. And I just thought I would go away, and my dad, I think, gave me some advice. He said, why don't you just go away and work at a holiday camp for a season, see if you enjoy it. And to be honest with you, I had my 17-year reunion on Monday night with my first team of from a holiday park that I went to work at that year. And that was
Where was that at, David?
That was a Haven holiday park in Rochester called All Hallows.
I've done it. All Hallows, yes, I have. Yeah. nice venue, quite a nice stage area and all that.
And I started there, and to be honest with you, it was like a bit of a light bulb moment. I couldn't believe that that this job existed, really, that I got to, you know, just enjoy it every day, and I loved it. And then it just kind of became like a bit of a bug from there, and I just bounced from job to job, and it became a little bit of a running joke that I don't stay anywhere for very long. But I was just loving the idea of changing it up all the time, meeting new people, new ideas, creating new things, which I just bounced for literally, I think, about 7 or 8 years, 6 months here, 3 months there, kind of toured all over the place, did some great jobs.
Did you work? Sorry, go on. Did you work for Haven? How many years did you do at Haven?
I did about a year with Haven. I did 3 parks in that time. I got moved around quite a little bit. I went to work for Butlins as a red coat. I'm going to try and give it a time really quickly. Yeah, I was a red for the Christmas season, and I stayed a little bit into the next year. I then went to do a season for Thompson over in Fuengirola, which I know you know.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
The Aramar Hotel.
It's a gold hotel. Gold hotel. It's platinum though, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think they've changed.
Yeah, it's platinum now, I think.
Really good. First season abroad. Loved the kind of entertainment. Add the sunshine into that, was even better. Went from there to do my first cruise for Disney Cruise Line in America, sailing around the Caribbean and the Bahamas, and yeah, that was amazing.
Is that like the Caribbean? Is that like the Caribbean?
That's how they say it. Yeah.
You went all American then. You went all American, did I?
And I think it was instilled in me, and now it feels wrong to say it the other way. Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
And then I went to do a tour with a group called the 12 Irish Tenors, and I was one of the Irish tenors, and we had to fake an Irish accent every night.
David, give us a test of your Irish accent.
I can't, Johnny. I can't.
So, David, that was terrible.
But that's what I'm saying. I can't.
You got to go. Hello. How are you? Lovely to see you. Welcome to Belfast.
No, I never could do a good Irish accent. So yeah,
that was worse. Joe, thank you very much, Mike. So, David, obviously, then you came to Potters. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
finished my first. I went back to Butlins to be after. Being a redcoat there, one of the kind of a bit of a career aspiration was to be in their big production shows. I always thought that their shows were brilliant, and I went back to work there, and I did a year there, and then I came to Potters straight from there, and then was at Potters for about nine years.
Yeah, because great stuff. I mean, a nice thing is, did we ever work on stage together singing anything?
Yeah, definitely. Years. I didn't get.
I know Mike, Sean and I did. I was Wilbur and he was Edna. Yeah. Now and again, and I did the Blues Brothers with what's his name? Paul Rafferty.
Yeah.
And that was so odd. I don't think you may not have been there, but I was doing the Blues Brothers in my own show, only the opening. And Leanne Mitchell rang me up, and I was in Yarmouth. She went, "Johnny, so are you working tonight?" I went, "No." She went, "You couldn't do us a favour, could you?" I said, "Well," I said, "somebody's not very well. I think it was one of the guys, I can't remember which his name was. Can you do the Blues Brothers?" I went, "Oh, yeah, it's easy." I'd not even seen the show. So she said, "Can you get back for about 3 o'clock?" And we rehearsed it. And it was 4 songs of the Blues Brothers. Well, I've never been so scared in all my life. And it was Paul Rafferty was on. We said, "Don't worry, I'll take the bits that you can't do." I went, "You better sing the bloody lot then." So we did it. And we did it. And brilliant. And I loved it.
It's pretty
so, I mean,
certainly sing with somebody because you kind of you know your version of that song. You probably knew the songs, but in kind of a Johnny version, and that's what we all do.
That's it. The club singers, but then obviously you were doing. Then you put a show together, which to my mind, let me think. You started. It was called the Jersey Boys, and then you couldn't use that name.
We bounced around about 4 names in the first, but do you know what? I look back at that and I think, well, we must have been doing something quite right at that time because we just got slapped with about every kind of letter we could get slapped with for being too close.
What were the names on here? Jersey Boys. What was the other one?
Jersey Boys Live. The boys from Jersey. The boys who went to Jersey promised to never ever go back. Yeah, lots of different versions of the same thing, and in the end, we just decided that. Well, I think they decided for us that something safer, where we weren't going to get a big lawsuit on our hands for yeah. But of course, celebrating the music of Jersey Boys and the Four Seasons is our little show. And yeah, it all started at Potters.
It's fantastic. We've got a great following, and of course they've just won. You won an award recently, didn't you? Won an award.
Yeah, we won
for one of the top
tribute.
The best tribute.
Yeah, in the nation. Yeah, there you go.
That's fantastic. I mean, it's a real achievement. And not only that, you've toured all over the country with it, like theatres, weddings, all different sort of things. But you come back to Potters, and what I like about it, it always sells out. You have a one-nighter, and it always sells out. That's just a real achievement.
I would be being pretty ignorant if I didn't understand and realise that a lot of our kind of my early confidence to carry on going with it was all born at Potters. I didn't necessarily believe that I could put together a group that would, that would have like years worth of, bookings or, success, if you like. Didn't believe that it didn't start off with that mentality, but performing at Potters, working out what works, what doesn't work, all these sorts of things, they give you that confidence to push to the next step, and I absolutely owe it everything. Small things. When I first put the show together, my head was more is more, and more people on stage, and make it bigger and make it better, and all these things that I was learning. And actually, what I learned really quickly was the magic really was getting 4 great guys together, and everything else actually we didn't really need. But that was something I had to learn, and only from having that opportunity at Potters, we put all the dancers into it, and great big bands and all this stuff that we kind of threw at it. But in the end, the best shows we ever had was when the 4 guys were really tight and created that special atmosphere, and work with the audience. So
did you do all the choreography as well?
Well, back in the day when I was still in my caravan back at Potters, I just remember just doing it, pretty much every aspect, because it was like, well, how am I going to get this done? I really wanted to do it, and every little element, putting together the music and the costumes and the choreography, just made it all happen in my caravan. And luckily,
you must have had a big caravan with four guys.
No, I just danced it on my own, and then when I got into the studio, I taught the guys it. But it's quite funny, really, because as the years went on and we got some gigs, every kind of gig we got, I'd put some money aside so I could get a choreographer in to replace my awful dancing with some good steps. So I think there's a couple of routines that have still lasted the test of time, but not kind of because I think that they're good. I think, for whatever the reason, I've tried to replace any of my choreography bit by bit over the years. So
I mean, also you also had a George Michael show, because obviously he passed away a few years ago, and you started doing. Where you gone?
You're on about the one starring me, or the one that
No, not that one. No, that was it. Yeah. No, the one you did the tour with, which you did.
I found a picture last night of the one that I was in. Wait, do you want to? Because do you know what?
Put it on.
It was a few of our great past dancers from Potters were in this picture, and I loved working with these girls. Right there, can you? Yeah, look, there you go.
Look at that, hey boy, hey George Michael, eat your heart out.
I look more like Borat.
Yeah, you look like Stevie Pink.
Yeah.
Because Stevie used to wear the BSA leather jacket and his hair was spiked. He thought he was George Michael. He really did. But the show you did, obviously you did the tour, and it did, tremendous business, didn't it?
Yeah, do you know what? After kind of doing that show years ago, I just had this idea. It was never because I thought I was there's some brilliant George Michael tributes out there who are like, they take him off to a T. But in my head, I just wanted to create this like really fun 80s party show. I always thought that was a really good genre for Potters, and I did this little George Michael thing. But years later, what really helped was when George passed and his music suddenly was getting really celebrated again. An idea was born to create a Wham George Michael show that was really upbeat and fun, and although he had passed, it was really celebratory of all these great upbeat pop tunes. And there was no other kind of Wham show out there, if you like. So opened up, we did a really good tour over 2 years. I think we did about 200 venues.
Brilliant. Well done.
And do you know what? I learned a lot. I learned how to lose money, how to make some money. You know, the things you need to know, the things that you don't know until you've done it. But all in all, a great experience that kind of puts us in good stead for what we do in theatre in the future. I'd love to bring it back one day.
I mean, it was a great. I mean, I saw the show. Great show, fabulous show. A lot of hard work, and then, of course, from that, God, I can't believe your career. God, dear, I thought I had a good career. But you started doing the ships, booking the ships.
Yeah, that about. I think it's about 2.5 to 3 years ago now. A colleague of mine who I'd worked quite closely with in the cruise industry had said he had an opportunity for me to create some shows for him. It was a bit pie in the sky at the time for a company called Viking Cruises. At the time, of a relatively small company who had a couple of ships, and they flew me out to a ship, and I went and looked at what they were doing, and they basically wanted to change what they were doing on board and revamp the shows, etc., etc. So we kind of pitched for it. We went in, we put together a show, and yeah, we won the contract, and now we're 2.5, 3 years in, and we've got 6 ships with them, and they've got really good plans to build more ships. So we've in the last 2.5 years, that has seen me literally out of the country more than I've been in, and enjoying all of the kind of the bits that come with travel, really, and that's been lovely.
Well done, David. Well, David, listen, thanks for coming on today. I'll have a chat to you a bit later on. But,
yeah.
Cheers, mate. Brilliant. Honestly, really interesting.
Thank
well
you,
done. Well done.
Should I
take care, mate? Oh, wow, about that. Dave, I can't believe it. David Grieger, he's still there. He's still there. He went and come back. Thank you, David. Frankie's Guys. That's what it's called. Frankie's Guys, his show. And done really, really well. Brilliant. I mean, started at Potters, as he said. Owes it all to a young lady I'm going to bring on now. And that is the lovely Nikki Hathaway, the entertainment. What's that? What is that? What the hell is that? Well, where'd you get that from? Mike, that is me. Wow, look at that. Look at the hair. Stan Boardman, eat your heart out. I was talking to Stan yesterday, actually. Look at that. I can't believe it. Nikki, what do you think of that then?
Wow, look at that hair.
And that is natural, Nikki. That is not a wig. That is natural. I didn't have my hair curled. I used to have it straightened with a thing called Tida hair straightener. It was you wash in your hair and you pull your fingers through it. It's supposed to stay straight, but it went straight away back. It's about 12 quid. Really expensive. For that.
Keegan, that was.
Are you in a nursing home, Johnny? Gosh, shame balls you. I was in so much trouble. I'm telling you. No, that picture was actually taken at Lakeside Country Club when they were home of the darts, and I was touring with the Drifters. And the gag, I know exactly what gag I was doing. As soon as I saw that picture, I knew it was a gag. A guy had a stammer. I won't do the gags, it's too long. But that's the gag that I was doing. And I remember it. And the suit made in Savile Row, believe it or not. Fortunes. Well, that's when I was earning good money. Then I worked at Potters and it went downhill. Nikki, lovely to see you. Hope you're well.
Lovely to see you. Haven't seen you. Yes.
So obviously you're now the entertainment director for Potters and you are running the whole ship. How's it been? Obviously this lockdown, you took over. When did you take over?
It's almost like the world turned upside down the minute I took over.
All your fault.
Yeah, I mean, it was going to be a challenge as it was because I was obviously still producing the shows and running theatre company and casting, etc. So to take on all the other elements as well, it was a big challenge, but I never did imagine it was going to be full of the challenges of the last year. But you know what? Like David's just been saying, you learn every single day. And, to have done, even to have opened like we did in the summer and do what we did and look at things in a different way and present things in a different way. You know, I'm so proud of everyone that has been involved with that, because, you know, talk about team effort. What an amazing team we've had to put this together.
I mean, you're the entertainment director, but somebody told me that you were wiping down segways, cleaning segways, and taking temperature with the gun.
Just hands on deck, you know. That's what I mean. Team effort. Everyone mucked in. Everyone did things they'd not done before. Everybody just mucked in where everyone was needed. They were, you know, and that's how it had to be for the summer. And it was lovely. It was really lovely.
I mean, the nice thing you do, yeah. I mean, the nice thing you do in that, it's like when I was in Redcoat at Butlins, I was a chief red over about 70 redcoats. Well, in Skegness or Clacton, I was at the time, and I used to help doing all the setting up, all the stage sets and all that. And they'd say to me, "Why you don't have to do this?" I said, "But if I do it, they will do it," and they get a bit of respect. And now you probably gained, you know.
Well, you know, the thing is, my ethos is don't ask people to do things that you're not willing to do yourself.
Yep. So listen. So tell me about your roots.
My roots. Wow, as you can tell,
that is the Essex girl look. That is the blonde hair with the black line down the middle.
Watch yourself. What's wrong with Essex?
So listen, I know all about you, Nikki. A lot of things about you. You actually used to come to Potters on holiday, didn't you?
Yeah, I was a guest first and foremost. I think I was 13, 14 when I first came to Potters on holiday.
Still sorry?
I'm still a guest at heart. That's how I still feel, even though I've worked there for 25 years this year.
Really? 25 years? That's incredible. That's incredible. Yeah. You can fool people all the time, you see. That's what it is. Sorry about that. But also, obviously, you've come to Potters on holiday. What was it like in those days? I mean, obviously, the man himself, Mark Brewer, and Busby and Andy Feet, they were all running it, you know, Johnny Wade. You know, there's so many, Graham, and they were all running it. Nigel was on the keyboard, as I remember when I came to do some stuff.
I mean, that's the thing, that the testament to Potters is a lot of those people are still there today. And, you know, that was the thing that set I mean, I've grown up going to holiday camps, holiday resorts as they are now. But yeah, from a baby, I was going to Warner's and Pontins. I'd grown up in that environment. I loved that environment. But coming to Potters, there was just something special about it. And I always say, you know, even now, it always felt like home. And I think guests feel like that. When they come to Potters, it's like coming home to Potters. And I think the staff feel like that as well. You know, we're a family. It's a family-run business, and we're all one family. And, you know, that can have its ups and downs, but when push comes to shove, as this summer proved, as this year has proved, we all come together.
So it's funny, isn't it? Because when I came to Potters, I used to do quite a lot of visiting cabarets, you know, like, and I always wanted to work there, always. And that was there was only the London Palladium and Chroma Pier to headline. Well, I've done the whole lot. And I came once for an audition, and Mark saw me, and I didn't have a good night in the Terrace Bar. It was a dreadful night. And night before, I was with Frankie Valli in London at the Palladium. And I came there on the Sunday and did a Sunday night, and I died of death. And I thought, it might have been a Monday actually, and I died of death. And not died of death, but it was a theatre act. I was doing a theatre, and I tried it in there, it didn't work. And I rang up and said, well, no, we're not, you know, not yet, you know, blah blah blah. And then I came back with Freddie Starr, and I did obviously the show, did the summer there. I think every Wednesday night, I think I did for the whole 7 weeks. And I said, I've got to work here. I want to work here. And obviously, then John Potter took me to Cyprus. And that was it. And I love it. I just think the place is so different to any. I mean, you can skive. So many places to hide. I love it. Rachel knows them all, you know. So then, tell us. So you started at Potters. What year and how old were you when you started at Potters?
I was obviously, it was 25 years ago. I was obviously 5.
Yeah, go on.
I was 21. Do the maths. And I started as a dancer. And
so did you go to state? Did you go to dancing school before you came?
Well, I'd been dancing since I was 3, but I never actually went to college. I'd actually been doing a proper job in London. I was working in the city. I was in stocks and shares, and I was doing a proper job. My dad was dead proud of me. And then I said, right, sorry, Dad, I don't like this anymore. I'm going to go and live in a caravan on the East Coast and become a dancer. He was really chuffed.
Brilliant. That's good. And then what happened then? I mean, obviously Mark was producing the shows then, wasn't he?
Yeah. Mark was doing the shows then, and I just felt like it was where I was meant to be. And as the years have rolled on, I think I've probably done every job going within entertainment, to the point where I still say it seems crazy if somebody had told me that 14-year-old young girl coming to Potters looking at everybody like, oh my God, I'd love to be here, to say that I'm now entertainment director. It still seems like a dream. It doesn't feel real at all. I feel lucky every day.
I think what it is, like you said, it's like a family unit, and it doesn't feel like work. If you love the job, you do. When you go on stage, anybody, I mean, Mark, whoever, it doesn't feel like a job. It feels like you're just going out there to have a little chat with them, They're your friends.
Yeah, your guest family, everything about it. And I think it was Des O'Connor, wasn't it, that said, I've never worked a day in my life.
No, that's the same. Yeah. Well, I haven't. I have a lot.
But yeah.
So what happened? Sorry.
When you do what you love, it's never work. It can have its challenges, but we have to do our passion every day.
So how did you get on to doing the producing the shows? When was that transition?
I don't really remember it. It's really strange. I just started to play around with some like technology. I mean, I was trying to think. Nigel was taken over some of the producing of the shows and putting together content, and I just started to have more and more ideas, and then I started to play around with music technology, on the computers, and putting tracks together and making, and then before I knew it, I was kind of putting together sections. We did a big Queen section, and I spliced together a few songs, and I was like, oh, I really love doing this. And that's just grown and grown. I've just gradually done that. I had an interest in costumes, so I loved starting to costume the shows and research the costumes and I look at things all the time, and it just became, I stepped away I had my 2 girls, obviously, and dancing became not necessarily feasible with trying to bring up a young family. They became older, I became older, so definitely wasn't going to go back to the dancing. So that's not happening anymore. And so I just took the passion of the performing into the backstage area of it, and I've just kind of evolved with that. Now I'm able to create the content for our LED wall, so I'm constantly learning new skills, and I just love sitting down with a blank piece of paper and deciding what the next show is, or the next product is, or what we're going to provide in all our venues. Now even more so, we've got our new garden bar with a new stage. I've got the Atlas Theatre still, and we've got our South Terrace. We've got more venues than ever before, providing entertainment, and I get the joy of being able to put that together. So
that's the nice thing, is it? When we used to stand on the doors after the show, the people used to come out and say, do you know what? I've been on a cruise ship. This is far better. Honestly, and it's not blowing, but honestly, yourself that the shows are, how many dancers do we have? How many dancers? That's it's sort of about 8 dancers, didn't you? Sometimes 8 or 9 dancers.
We've done shows with 5 people, and we've done shows with, I think, 50 people. We had an orchestra on stage one Christmas. you know, we've done everything, and that's where we've been so lucky to have the ability to create so much and so varied, you know, products. So, you know, that has been amazing. The investment that we've had at Potters, you know, the investment in all of the technical equipment, the LED screen just transformed everything that we did, took it to another level. And that's what's been great, is every year we've been able to do something, progress in another way or another direction, or change direction. It's always exciting, it's always new, and like David said, you're always learning, and hopefully we're getting it right.
Never
enjoy it.
You know what I mean? I mean, that LED screens, that is probably, I think it's the only one in the country which is static. Because I know Britain's Got Talent hire them off a company. Mike Spratt, I think his name is, used to do Freddie's tours with all the sound and lights and stuff. But I think that's the guy who owns one of the companies. But you're the only one, Potter's the only ones that actually have it in the venue. That it's there all the time. You know, they bring them in for big shows in London, but then they have to go back after the end of the shows. But you know, of course, you've created a few stars as well, haven't you? See?
Oh,
I mean, like, well, look at it. Lee Mead. Look at Lee Mead. Look. Lovely Lee. Started with you. How old was he?
Lovely boy, Lee. Oh, my goodness. Oh, he was probably 18, 19. Obviously, Kerry Ellis, when I first started, Kerry was coming to Potters during the school, when she was at Lane Theatre Arts School. She'd come during the holidays to work at Potters, so we spent some happy summers, you know, messing around in between doing all what we were doing.
I can believe it.
Happy times. We've obviously Leanne Mitchell winning The Voice, you know, seeing her do that was just such a highlight. And you just feel so proud of, you know, all these people we've had people go off to do West End shows, you know, UK tours, you know, and a lot of those people I've been able to witness grow and improve whilst they've been with us. So, you know, that in itself has been, and that's because they get to work with the amazing creatives we get to bring in as well, you know, which is lovely to see that improvement and growth in them, and that, you know, they grow whilst they're with us, but then they go out into the real world better performers all round. It's lovely.
I mean, look at Andy Mace. I went to see Only Fools and Horses, and I couldn't believe it. Andy was playing Grandad and Uncle Albert, and like, it was just fantastic show. And I mean, we went backstage and met the cast and all that, and it was brilliant, you know. And you think, Andy Mace, I've seen him at Potters, you know. It's just,
I started,
And I say again, Lee's back on Holby City. Is it Holby City? I think, yeah. You know, it's just unbelievable.
Great guy.
And you know, what's the future holding? I know obviously the shows have been trimmed down, and you've actually allowed me to be in one. I can't believe it.
I know, you couldn't believe your luck.
I thought they'll just keep me in that other show, do a bit of Mrs. Brown, and then suddenly she said, and then the thing about it was, Nick, Shane sent me all the paperwork, and I thought, I've got to learn these songs, because it never had like Roxy and Johnny, so I learned everybody's parts virtually. I mean, I still cocked out when I tried it the first time, but you know what I mean. You've given me such great chances, like when I did Les Miserables, you know, Master of the Elves, Thénardier, you know, Wilbur, and do you know what?
I'd forgotten about it. I loved that section.
Oh, I know, yeah. Well, that was bloody Master of the House I went into then. What was it I used to sing? I can't think. I can't think what it was.
Hairspray.
When I was with Wilbur. I can't think what I used to sing. I actually looked at it the other day on YouTube. Not me, but the original. But great fun, great. And I tell you, and of course I was telling David when I filled in with Paul Rafferty to do the Blues Brothers.
That was a long time.
I know, that was when I first started there. And also, what was the other thing? When me and James did the Blues Brothers, you know, and Richard, you know, it was like between us.
That was
honestly. I might have retired when I
just
was that, sorry.
We've done so much. I'm getting to the age now. I'm just forgetting. I need a library that we've done so I can remember it.
You'll be as old as me, 58. You've had it, mate. If you only hit the 58, you're knackered. It's gone. Nikki, listen. So you've got new stuff obviously coming up for the new shows. Are we still putting on the glitz, please?
That'll be carrying on for a little bit longer. I'm working on a new performance for the summer celebration. Nearly said celebration, which is going to be our new for summer. So I figure everybody be in a celebrate. I think we should be celebratory when we've got past all of this, and fingers crossed that there's a bit more of a normal for summer. Celebration is going to be the key to my summer show.
Fantastic. Just before you do go, of course, you've got you mentioned your daughters, two lovely girls, Anna and Libby.
Yeah.
Lovely girls. How old's Libby now?
She's going to be 17 next month.
17. She was 6 when I met her.
I know.
And probably younger than that. And how old was Anna? Anna was like a tiny tot.
Yeah,
real tiny tot.
13 in a couple of weeks and 17.
Oh, here we go. That's it. Start bringing the boyfriends home. Well, not yet, but they will.
Go there. Don't even go there. Libby's first time in the theatre, she was about 4 days old when she first came into that theatre.
Really?
I brought her in because we were doing a dress run. I couldn't hold out. It didn't last till the end of the to the end of the week when the new show was going up. So she ended up coming in for a dress run at about 4 days old.
Oh, my son actually, he was born on Christmas Day, and I was gigging in a restaurant down in Kent, massive big restaurant, and he was born Christmas night, right, on Christmas Day, sorry, and I was working New Year's Eve, and he actually came to the gig, and the lady gave him an electric Mercedes car, you know, the little pedal car, but electric, and she actually gave it. He was only like 5 days old. She went. She knew Debbie was pregnant, having the baby, and she went, "There, have it." Oh, it was incredible, you know.
Oh.
But listen, Anna, because Anna's in show business. She's a little bit. Didn't she do a commercial?
Yeah, she's done a few bits and pieces. She did a Next advert, she's appeared obviously. Well, both of them have in many a Christmas show. In fact,
they have, yeah.
The first Christmas Eve, I think that either of them could remember that they were actually at home and not at Potter's on Christmas Eve.
I know.
First time. It was so strange.
Nikki, you're doing so well with it all and holding it all together, you know, and I'll have another chat to you before we go. But thanks for coming on, darling. Thank you very much.
Hey.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Nikki Hathaway, see, she's got a pen. Did you know she had a pen in her hand? And I bet she was writing down, celebrations, Johnny Laff. Yeah, Johnny Laff. Not really. Yeah, we've got a special guest. You obviously saw him at the beginning. Excuse me. Oh, I haven't got it. A friend of mine, great friend of mine, and obviously he's been coming to Potters for a few years now. A very, very talented, funny man. Ladies and gentlemen, it is, of course, Richard Wymark.
Hello, Johnny. Hi, Johnny. Hi, everybody. How are we doing?
Here he is. Hello. Oh, hang on. Oh, look. Oh, it's only Willie. Hello, Willie. Hello, mate. How are you? Willie, you can take your mask off.
You're
Willie.
Indoors. Come on.
You're indoors, mate. You're in your own house. Hello. How are you, Willie? How are you, all right, Willie?
Okay, I'm fine, Johnny. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. So, how are you getting on with this COVID thing?
Awful.
Willie, how are you getting on with COVID? Oh,
you've been self-isolating, haven't you? Yeah. I've been locked in the trunk.
Has you been locked? See, it's not nice keeping him in that trunk, Richard, is it?
No.
So, Richard, you came to us about 2 years ago, yeah?
Last visit, I originally, as you put him down there for a moment, I first came to Potters, worked out about 10 years ago, Johnny. Can you believe that?
Really?
Nearly 10 years ago. Yeah, I was, as we spoke of, I was on tour with Engelbert Humperdinck. As a result, it was Barry Dye from down my neck of the woods who booked me to support Barry, to support Engelbert. And Nikki or someone might be help me out. A fella called Colin, who was one of the financial guys.
Yeah, Colin Trigg. Yeah.
Yeah. He saw me in the foyer and he says, you'll be ideal for our audiences. I didn't catch where he meant, and he took a business card and everything, and it was Rachel rang me, and made my first visit to Potters around 10 years ago. And
is it that long?
Yeah, it was 10 years ago, and yourself and Richard were there, and yeah, that was when, and I think it was the variety night with Raoul Nadler.
That's a Raoul Nadler, yeah.
Raoul, and then there was a combination. It was Michelle or Tony Warren, various singers, obviously the band and everything, and then I do the evening, and I loved it. It was about a 2.5 year run, I think, on Tuesdays at the time, and then we had a year or two, and then it hasn't been, obviously last year was, you know, a bit of it for everybody, and but yeah, I was there, I think, just before Christmas, the previous Christmas or whatever. But I love it, you know, as like you, John, it's my favorite venue. I absolutely love the place, and hope to bring back.
Going back to Engelbert, I mean, how did you get that gig? How did you get the gig?
Literally, I was literally at home cleaning out the shed. And Barry there, I believe it was Mike Lancaster from up north, who'd obviously, I think he was down for the tour, and something went awry, and I just got the call, are you working tonight? Can you do half an hour? And I thought it was a tribute, didn't expect it to be the real guy, and shot down to Ipswich region, and I did a quick sound check, took Charlie, Willie and Elsie in the trunk and everything, and opened for him. And the guys on the tour, they said, we love what you do, and they gave me the rest. He was here I think he was here for about 2 weeks or so, there's about a dozen dates to fulfill. And yeah, it was that certainly put me on the ladder from a lot of the other stuff I'd done. And I even had a bodyguard, I can't think of his name now, who'd looked after Freddie as well.
Was it Preston?
He was an older chap, that's all I can remember. He looked a bit like dear old Frank Carson, that's all I can remember.
I'll probably know him, yeah.
And,
so where did you work? Whereabouts did you work? What theatres did you do?
Well, the Region was the first one. Then we had a couple of nights at De Montfort Hall, Leicester, Manchester, Birmingham Concert Hall, is it? Or Symphony Hall. Symphony Hall. Manchester Concert Hall, I think it was. The one for me was the Blackpool Opera House, because
I've done it. Oh, what a venue! Oh.
Massive. It was a bit of a funny story, because we were put. Hayley, my wife, came in with me to that one because we've been on the road and everything, and we got instructions to the car park, which is round the back, which is like a
that's right underneath.
And we were going in with all the gear and everything, and we said, oh, we've got to go through this door. We ended up in a kiosk, so we opened the door thinking it was the backstage, and we were in a sweet kiosk. But no, that was what I was looking forward to, because Barry had phoned dear old Bobby Ball and Joe Longthorne and some of the Nolans, because he looked after Shane Ritchie at the time.
Yeah, that's right.
And they were all due to come and see it, but something went awry and they didn't book them. So that was what I was really holding out for, because obviously I would have had a lot of my heroes there that night. But no, it was a great, and of course I think a week or two later was when Rachel rang me, and that was when I did the first run, if you will, on like what was then the variety night. And yeah, that was how it started with Potters for me.
So what was he like? What was Engelbert like?
He was very private. He always spoke. He like you, Johnny, I dined with the crew. They brought caterers in and everything, and but his wife was with him, and he kept himself to himself. He always, when I was loading in, he loved the little characters and that. And I wasn't sure if he'd understand a Suffolk accent, but he was fine. But he just kept himself to himself and everything. And he had a heck of a following. He was one of these. It was like the old age version of a One Direction concert. You'd come out the back door, and they had the banners and everything. And I had to have someone get me to my car, which was really funny. But no, it was an eye opener, but it was to be considered to do it, to be given the opportunity to do it, from doing the small venues, the clubs and small theatres and everything, to get to to be put in that position was incredible. But it certainly, you know, opened doors, as they say, for me.
I mean, have you done any cruising at all? Have you done cruise ships?
No, I haven't. That's one thing I've never, in a bizarre way, has appealed. I've got friends who do it, and you know, the other two guys who live near me, Andy Leach does them, Mickey Zaney does them, and I know a lot of guys. That's never been. I've always been an inland performer. You know, I've gone
Bit like me. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
I know some people love it and that they choose to, and I, you know, I wish them every success with it. But now that was the appeal of Potters, because someone once said it was like a cruise inland because of the quality of the shows, and I thought, well, that's the dream job, because I don't ever want to go on the boats. But you know, it was, you know, as Nikki said, they've took it to another level. You know, the standard is incredible. You know, and I was so fortunate to do the run I had. You know, I absolutely loved it.
So you got Charlie, you got Willie.
We have Elsie, as well. She's the grand. We have a vulture. Got a baby with a weak bladder who pees over the audience. There are a few. Yeah,
I do that now anyway.
But no, we have all the characters in that, and yeah.
Where's Charlie? Get Charlie out. Get Charlie out.
Charlie's here. Come here. There we go. Dear. Come on out here. Here we go. Hello.
Hello, Charlie. Hello, Charlie. Look who's come to say hello, Charlie.
Well, I never.
Hello, Charlie.
Nookie Bear. Nookie Bear.
That's Nookie.
He's Nookie. Look at that. Yes,
yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what he was originally called?
Yes. Starts with a B.
It certainly does, and he had to change it for new faces.
I know. So Richard, when you started, how did you get started in the business? You know, like, I mean, I know you do magic as well. So how did you get started?
Well, when I was can I go? Yeah, you go over there a minute. When I was when I started out, when I did the talent shows when I was like 19, 20, I started as an impressionist, a comedy impressionist, because as a lot of people did, I suppose, in the day, I was the like yourself, I was a wigs and hats guy. You know, I didn't just do the voices. I would overemphasize the impressions, and I did quite well in the talent competitions. I wasn't particularly any good, but it was because 90% of the other acts were singers. And so when you did like a Search for a Star type thing, the Talk at Norwich did it, did Stowmarket, they did it here, my own town, and round the coast. And they used to have the heats and then a grand final, and they would put the comedy acts through. So there was a bit of variety to the grand final. And my signature piece was the Tina Turner thing. I think I have done it at Potters, which used to be the full Monty thing and finishes Tina Turner. It was sort of tip my hat to the original Brother Lees and to the Grumbleweeds. You know, that was sort of they were both very influential in what I did. And but I realized then that I hadn't got my own character. You were hiding behind the impressions a bit. So being Suffolk, you know, 20, 30 years ago, Jethro had taken off as a rural comedian. And I thought, right, let's play on the accent a little bit. And the impressions waned. And one of my routines was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with Chris Tarrant. So I had the blonde wig on. Hello, welcome back to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. In the chair this evening is, and then I would do Ali G, various Joe Pasquale. I would do impressions as the contestants. And then I thought, let's try it with a puppet. And I had a friend who was a ventriloquist down in Essex, and he taught me how to do it. And then we slowly, as the like shows evolve, it involved Charlie was the first one, and then I got the characters. And I was also conscious that there was other impressionists out there. There was a lot of magicians. Obviously, Andy Leach I worked with a lot. He did the comedy magic. Mickey Zaney from down this neck of the woods, he did a handful of impressions and stand-up. So I thought, well, I need to be different. So I concentrated a bit more on the vent. And then I also had the old act. So like, as I've done when I've done Potters, I did a few impressions. Then the little fellas came out for the last half an hour, and like we all love, it's a variety, you know. So it's the skill set you learn over the years, and because the magic was always a hobby as well. So certain functions I would do a couple of tricks and things as well, you know. So that's how it all started for me.
Because you're married as well, and you're married. You've got a lovely wife.
My wife Hayley, yeah, we've been married now 23 years. We married in I'll be 24 this year. Yeah, very, very supportive and very critical as well. So she'll, when she gets to see the act, she'll make the notes and everything and keep her eye out what's working for me as well. You know, very important.
That is what Ken Dodd's wife used to do. She used to go with him to every gig, sit in the corner, and she'd write, even before he died, you know, and she would write it all down and say, why don't you change that gag to there and do that there? And just, you know.
Yeah, I think we all do. I mean, like, I've been doing this during lockdown. I've been obviously writing down stuff, and you know, we all think up ideas and that. And sometimes I used to forget to write them down, and then a week later, I'd think, "What was that?" So I write everything down now, and I've had the time to do it. So, and looking back at all the old stuff, because I've been cleaning out the loft, the garage, and the shed, all the old props and everything, and think, is anything I can use now and everything, and you do. I think we all do, and I think it stops you sort of falling on your, you know, it stops you taking it for
resting
granted.
on your laurels. It stops you resting on your laurels.
Yeah, you want to, you know, we all love what we do, and it's always nice to add new stuff and put the other stuff as your back catalogue and everything, isn't it? You know,
I think it's very difficult. I think any act is very difficult, because halfway through your act, if you're finding it a bit difficult with your new stuff, you think, oh, I'll go back to the old stuff. I mean, I do 2 gags, new ones, and think, well, that's it. That's the new bit of the act. I'll go back to the old rubbish.
Absolutely. I know. I was talking to Leachy about this, Andy, and we were saying he does, like me, he does the 3 strikes and you're out. So he'll try it 3 times at 3 different venues, and then if it doesn't work, that doesn't go in anymore. And I do that myself, whether it's when I'm writing stuff for the little characters or wherever. But obviously, you get different audiences, you know.
Oh, of course,
We bang on about why we love Potters so much, because they're the perfect audience for me. If there's everything I've done in the last 20, 30 years, I just found something there, what worked for me. Whether it's, obviously I've done a lot of the bowls clubs and the social clubs anyway, but they kind of, you know, I got the audience there, but that what works for them might not work for Warner's. It might not work for a British Legion, or, you know, because we do the Great British Seaside Special with Ian Larkin and everything as well, you know, and you know, there's certain stuff what will be in that show what might not be right for a cabaret act, and but it's always about keeping it fresh, because there's acts, and we've spoken of them privately and everything. There's people we used to watch, and some don't change, and then people drift away. I mean, and you know, you've got to reinvent every so often.
You have to reinvent.
Yeah, you have to reinvent. It's always there, you know. I've done that. I've done places where I've been and done an hour, and then they said, "Oh, you didn't do the such and such." Well, no, but I gave you this instead, you know. But then hopefully you get rebooked, and then you'll take something back the next time.
Well, I used to do the Benny Hill. I mean, obviously, Simon did the Benny Hill. I think you saw me at the theatre in Hunstanton. I think you came, and and the thing about it was, I stopped doing it, and people said to me at Potters, "Why are you not doing Benny Hill anymore?" I said, "Because I'm 68 years of age and I want to see 70." Because you do your own little spot as well on Facebook Live, don't you? Quite a lot with the guys.
I did. Well, what it was, I've seen some friends who've put their acts online, and I thought, well, I don't really want to do that, because I don't want to give it away, else people won't want to see you when we thankfully get through all of this. So I thought, well, and also I've got my niece and nephew, and I've got friends who've got kids and everything. So we thought, well, let's just so we started doing 2 or 3 a week, and we just started again, like yourself, just a quick gag and just a quick hello with one of the little fellas, and, you know, some birthday shout outs and everything, because it's just nice. It lets people know you're still thinking of them and everything. You know, as they say, it don't cost nothing. And, you know, like you know, that people are sharing it, which is lovely, you know, and
keeps you sane, doesn't it? Keeps you sane.
Absolutely. You know, we're in a business where it's you know, you're reacting to an audience, you know, and even if you have to do it over by streaming like we are today, that's what we do, you know. And you know, it's just making, you know, letting people know we care, that we're thinking of them. It's a horrible time, but if they don't want to watch Loose Women, we called it Loose Willy. And, we
there's a gag there, but I can't do it.
I know.
But Richard, I mean, you know, you've been in the job a long, long time, and it's, you know, I mean, it is difficult now, and everybody, all the acts out there, I do feel for them, you know. I mean, I'm semi-retired, and it's not so bad for me. But, you know, I mean, everybody puts so much in, and I do feel sorry for the entertainers, you know. And we've got the Potters, all the Potters gang, you know. You've got like Mark, you know, you got Busby, you got Jack, you know, all those people. You know, Jack's doing the World Bowls, I think it's next week for the BBC. So his money will go up for a fiver. But you've got Busby, you know, and of course we've got poor old James has not been well. He's on. They're working on him, so he's going to be. He'll be back very soon. But Mark's got his own show. Goes out on. I think it's Fridays at 4:00. Mark's house party. I saw the one on Monday. Great, and it's nice just to let people know that you're still alive. Really, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's
that's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, people say there's nothing much on telly to watch and everything. I mean, I think the biggest hit over Christmas was when they were doing the Jimmy Tarbuck thing about the great days of life from the podium. Fantastic. And obviously, like the tribute to Bobby Ball, you know, because other than that, there wasn't a lot of variety. So, like you, John, myself, Andy's put bits on, and some of the retired acts like our friend Roger, you know, they're putting all the the photos and that just to remember people what it was like, and that we're still out there ready to go again, you know.
Richard, we can't get on telly because we can't dance, we don't sing, and we've got bugger all in the attic, you know.
Exactly.
Listen, mate, Richard, thank you for coming on. I'm sure we will see you back at Potter because you were one of the favourites. And I'm not just saying that, honestly. You know, one bloke come up to me and said, I love that bloke. It's only one, but it's a start. And it's not where you start, Richard. It is.
It's where you finish, isn't it?
That's it. And where do we want to finish?
Back at the start, probably.
Richard, I'll get you back, but let's bring the other guys back on. Let's bring Nikki and also the lovely David Grigo, if they're there. I think that'll be David Grigo. Oh, no, it's Nikki. Hello, Nikki.
Hello.
Did you make yourself a cup of tea?
I did. My Tesco shop had arrived, actually, which was good timing because I had to get them all to put it away.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, we do click and collect. I've got to get out of the house for 5 minutes. Have you met Willie up the top there? Look, can you see him? Willie's got his... Oh, Charlie. I didn't say Charlie's got his Willie out. Oh, dear. All right, Charlie.
Yeah, Nikki's down here. Look, see?
Yeah, Charlie.
Yes.
Charlie, how old are you now?
How old am I now? 82.
82.
82. He's been 82, and I still have sex at 82. That's good to know.
Yeah.
I live at 83.
Really?
But all right, we don't need to know that, do we?
So have you had your COVID jab? Have you had your COVID jab, Charlie?
I've had the first one. He's had his first one. He's just waiting, like so many, for the second. I'm still waiting for mine, but he's had his first one.
David, thanks a lot for coming on. Brilliant. Thank you very much. We know all about your career now. Yeah. So it's all downhill now, Dave. I'm telling you, it's all downhill.
Like it is at the moment. That's exactly how it looks. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on. Nice talking to you, Joe. Nice seeing everyone.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And Nikki, thanks for giving up your time. I know you had a pen in your hand, so you're obviously working on something.
Look, I've got all the notes. Well,
is my name on there? Is my name? Did I see my name come up on the bottom?
No.
Oh, bugger. At least I know I've got a few dates anyway. Nikki, thanks. Give my love to the girls, won't you?
I do.
And listen, take care. Stay ever so safe, all right? Because Potters needs people like you, Nikki. See?
I don't know about that, but I'm going to try and stay safe.
That's guaranteed me a couple of days' work anyway. Just a bit of flannel. And Richard Weimark. Oh, sorry, Nick. Thanks, Richard. Thanks for coming on.
Pleasure.
Very, very kind. Charlie, we'll see you again soon. Take care, mate. God bless you. Thanks a lot.
Take care, John.
Cheers, mate. And Mike Scott, are you there, Mike? Can you come on screen just for the last minute or so? Might get Mike on, and if he's going to come on, he might come on the screen. Michael Scott. No. What it is, he's got his hair is a bit of a mess. But listen, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and we will be back very, very soon with some more guests. If you want some guests, if you'd like to get me some people who you like at Potters, just go to my Facebook page and put who you'd like to see, and we'll try our best to get them people on. Okay, thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. God bless everybody, and remember, keep booking at Potters, because that's the place to be. In 2021, we are going to have a rave, a party like no other. Take care, and thanks for Mike for all your work today. Take care. Bye bye, everybody.